big thank you to Pham for lending me his car so I could make this video.
But winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Good morning, fellow drivers. I'm back in an MR2, but this is a different MR2, not mine. This is Pham's well-known white walker with a Gen 4 swap. We'll talk more about some of the mods and have a full list in the description of the video below. But I'm going to get going because this car has no AC, and so the sound isn't crazy. I have the windows rolled up, and it's hot as fuck right now. Woo. All right, so it's pretty loud in here, even with the windows up, just because this car is really raw, okay? And you'll probably hear me say raw a lot, all right? Because that really is what describes this car. It has no AC, no radio. In fact, I was gonna try and just put it on like outside air vents so I could get a little bit of circulation, but there's no air ducts because that's been removed, so I can't even do that. I might get desperate here and roll the windows down just a hair to get a little bit of air in here, but anyway, for the moment, I'll just sweat like crazy. This car was built to be a track car, okay? And I'm not gonna go too into detail about the MR2 in general because I already did a full review of a stock MR2, and if you haven't watched that, check that out. After you watch this video, you can click on it up here. I'll also have a link to it in the description below, so check those out. That being said, some basic things about the MR2. This is a 91 NA chassis, and it's a mid-engine car, rear-wheel drive, 5-speed manual transmission. This has the turbo E153 transmission, and it has an LSD in it. This car isn't quite straight piped, but it doesn't have any cat. It's a catless downpipe. It just has a muffler. It's an Apexi Exhaust. It's got the stock turbo, but it has an upgraded billet wheel, so it spools up really quickly. And it also has a wastegate that lets it boost up to 19 PSI. So how does this car feel? Well, it really feels like a race car. Like, it's got a lot of rattles. It is fairly hard, although to be honest, it has some type of BC coilovers, and they ride pretty well. But just in general, the car feels hard. It's got very solid motor mounts with a really hard poly compound. The steering is pretty heavy. This has a fully manual rack. Now, compared to some other cars with a manual rack, it's not that heavy because the MR2 has a pretty light nose, but it's definitely heavier than one with power steering. That being said, it has good steering feel. I mean, I can certainly feel what the wheels are doing. However, I feel like a little bit of I don't know, feels a little loose in the middle. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think that's just some 90s cars have that. I don't really notice it so much on my MR2, but I kind of do on this one. And it might be the difference between a 91 and a 93, I don't know. Holy shit, it's hot. So we've got some pretty aggressive tires on it. It's 200 tread wear, not super insane, but definitely grippy. And if I can get this pickup truck that's currently in front of me to move, then we'll see what that's like in the twisties in a second here. All right, let's check out what this is like. It's very loud. You can really hear that blow off. So no blow off valve. You get that flutter sound. love this road. I like the trees covering it and everything. It's really cool. It's very responsive. It boosts super quickly. So even with just a little tap, I'm already way up into boost range, even if I'm down at like 3,000 RPM. Here, we'll downshift again. I think it was hitting like 16 PSI right there. Brakes are Willwoods up front. Kind of standard turbo brakes in the back. We've got some drilled and slotted rotors. Here, we can do a good pull here. Oh, Jesus, okay. That was pretty crazy. So this is the most bare bones version of the MR2 you can get. We've got no power steering, no ABS, no power windows, no power locks. It's all totally manual. We got the wind up everything. Brakes grab pretty hard. As you can see, we'll give these people a little second, give a little bit of gap there, but and it pulls really hard.
Overall, this MR2 feels like a beast. It's way faster than a stock MR2, and I'm pretty sure it's faster than most cars you'll find on the street. In a way, it's very similar to mine. They both have Gen 4 3S GTEs, they both have Willwood big brake kits, and so on. However, they offer quite a different experience. I built mine with high quality, rare parts with an idea of balance in mind for both track and enjoyable street driving. This MR2 is singularly focused on a raw speed experience. It's loud as hell, has no interior features, boosts to the max, brakes squeal like you're killing kittens, and the intake is eBay. Sound like I'm knocking the car? Well, I'm not. Bob had a purpose in mind when he built it, to be a raw car for the track, and I'd say he nailed it. His philosophy is if something breaks, he'll fix it. No need to get fancy. And in a lot of ways, you can actually see great attention to detail, from the custom designed brake cooling ducts to the almost completely white engine bay. And you have to be a badass to drive a car like this. If I had to improve a few things, I'd say maybe install a fixed bucket seat. I frequently had to brace my leg against the door. I didn't get the car for too long, but it feels like it might also do with a front splitter. For the most part, this car is nuts, and I had an amazing time with it. It is a visceral, violent experience with brakes that grab hard even after repeated abuse, and an engine that will send you to the back of your seat.